harder than pot. But for some reason, when I joined one band, because I'm a vocalist, I started a band here in Dallas, and the band, they drank. Like, before I met these guys, I didn't really drink. I would probably have a beer once every couple years. And that's honest. I would probably drink every couple years, and I would have one beer. But when I joined these guys, it was like it was every other day. And I just kind of wanted to keep up with the Joneses. And
yeah.
I never learned how to not do that. I lost a wife and my kids because of everything that built up after joining this certain band, which I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to hurt them or their image or whatever, because they're still going on, but they're not a bunch of cool guys, I would just say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, my understanding of addiction is that it does come in different degrees and forms as well. And there are some people that take the first sip of alcohol and then can't ever put it down for the life of them. And then there are other people who, as they get older or as their brain develops, where they have a different kind of addiction. So yeah, I'm not, I don't know. I just know for me personally, I've never had that problem. But I think it's different for every person.
Well,
and I do think that there are situations that can make it worse too.
Right.
For sure.
Well, you never grasped on to having that type of addictional personality that is in our bloodline. I tried so hard because I watched my mom and my uncles and everybody. They went in that line, and I always tried up until 2004, 2005. I had always fought that.
And, sounds like you did. I was going to say, it sounds like you held it together pretty well for a long time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And just a couple years ago, our dad, he did his thing, and he had his motorcycle wreck and all that. And I said some things to him that maybe I shouldn't have said, but I was very upset at the time.
Yeah.
When he said some things. I'm not gonna disclose that online or on air or whichever, but I do regret it, and I didn't mean anything that I said. But he is what is he? He's 54.
Yeah, he's 13 years older than me, whatever that is. So yeah.
Yeah. So he made some very bad decisions in his life.
Yeah, it sounds like it from what I've been told. I didn't meet him until 2009, I think, 10, something like that.
Yeah, I've known him a little bit longer. But that's a totally different subject that it needs to be discussed between you and I in a private session.
Yes. Hey, I want to get back to the whole religion thing, because you asked me about my faith walk or whatever. So I'm curious, when did you first learn about God?
I first learned about God when I was at the end of my rope. And then I met a man named Brian Head Welch. And he told me how he was strung out on methamphetamines. He told me about when he beat his girlfriend / wife with a skateboard. And I was pretty much right there. I've never done meth, but I was fucked up with other drugs. And me and him made a friendship out of me just learning him and just being a friend.
Yeah.
And he would tell me things about his life, about how he fucked his own self up. And I'm sorry for the language, but I mean, this is what was said to me. And he told me that alcohol was the start of what made him be who he is or was at the time.
Kind of a gateway drug, huh?
No, well, it's not a gateway drug.
No, I'm not being literal. I'm just saying
we never use gateway because gateway that doesn't exist.
Okay, it was meant to be metaphorical. I was just kidding. Okay, so then what happened after that?
Well, he just told me how his life turned into shit, and then that his best friend, who happened to be a partner of his, sent him a scripture.
Oh, okay.
From the Bible, and it was 11:28. Come all who is weary. And
you will find rest.
Yes, and you will find rest.
Very cool.
And that's what did him in. And he tried to say the same stuff to me, but I'm bullheaded. You know.
Well, that runs in the family.
Yes, it does. But I'm there. I know I need to stop. I know I need the Lord in my life. I know this.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the only way to overcome yourself. I mean, I know that I'm definitely my own worst enemy, and it wasn't until I accepted Christ and started studying the Word and choosing every single day to just give up my free will to His will that I've been able to really make better choices and feel better about what I do and become a better version of myself. I know when I'm left to my own devices, it's not a good thing. And I'm not even an alcoholic, but you know, I think that's just human nature. I mean, each one of us is born with the propensity to really mess things up, and but that's what makes us seek or desire God, right? Because without God, we can't be the best versions of ourselves. So that's where I'm at for sure. I mean, I've said it since I recognized it in my early 20s that I'm definitely my own worst enemy without going, okay, God, Uncle, I will absolutely, you know, surrender my will to His, because obviously God's is going to be way better than mine.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but it's got to be a daily choice, and especially if you're, you know, on top of just plain being a human being, on top of that, if you have to battle addiction, it's got to almost be like a moment-to-moment decision more than even a daily.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at for sure. I at least one time a day, but probably multiple times a day, just either literally or figuratively throw my hands up and say, "You run the show." And I've been doing that since I was 21, and it's been going pretty well since then, really. So.
My life's been okay. I mean, other than, some of the downsides in my life, it's been pretty good.
Well, life isn't easy, that's for sure, no matter how you slice it.
You definitely have a few nephews that you need to try to get in touch with, I guess.
Aw, that makes me happy. I don't have any nieces or nephews on my side. So, with my siblings from my mom and her, my stepdad, I don't have any nieces or nephews. I only have nieces, dogs and cats. But, yeah.
Well, with me, you have some nieces and nephews, and even with Mindy, you have a nephew. So.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. That makes me happy to know. It's been really neat to meet some new family and get to know you guys.
Oh, wow. I mean, you have blown my mind. Oh, I would just say. Because for so long, when Rick and Joyce first found you, I was very like, no, I'm the oldest. I don't need anything else. But having to talk to you, get to know you, you are my older sister, and I do love you, and I hope we get to meet face to face, and instead of being, family on Facebook or whichever. But
yeah, well, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Well, at first I talked to Mindy for a little while, and it's difficult to really have a relationship online. But, and then I remember, I think at one point she said, you got to give Ricky some time. And I respect that 100%. I know it must have just been very bizarre to even find out that I existed. But I'm glad that we're talking, and I think it's really cool. Like I said, I don't know, I have always, my whole life, I've known about Ricky, our dad, but I obviously didn't meet him for a very long time. It actually took Facebook, go figure, because, we moved away when I was quite young, and so anyway, yeah, I think it's really cool, and I appreciate you saying that, because it's very neat to know family and get to know, your roots and your blood.
Yes. So everybody that is paying attention to the segment tonight, it's a very heartfelt segment tonight. You're getting to listen to me and my older sister talk about things that probably won't ever be talked about again on this segment. So I'm going to end this interview, but I'm going to play some songs tonight. I'm going to start it with one of my sisters, my oldest sister. Her favorite song, my favorite song, called Magnify by We Are the Messengers. Do you want to have anything to say about it?
Definitely one of my favorite songs, and I listen to quite a variety of music, which is another neat thing that I think we have in common is our eclectic music and love for music. I think that's really cool. And, definitely one of those songs that I crank up, and I'm just so grateful that I got to meet the Lord and that I have such a peace, and it's great, and I love that I get to share it with you too. So thank you.
Here it is. We are the messengers. Magnify.